the shove came out of nowhere. 1 second, Mrs. Eleanor Harper was walking peacefully through the busy Saturday market, the gentle jingle of coins in her handbag and the scent of fresh bread in the air. The next, her body lurched forward, her cane clattering against the pavement, her groceries spilling in all directions, bright oranges bouncing into the street, a loaf of bread landing in a dusty puddle. Gasps rose from the crowd. A few people stopped, unsure what to do. And standing right behind her were 3 teenage boys, snickering. One of them, tall, broad-shouldered, with a cruel smirk, muttered something under his breath that made his friends laugh harder. But within seconds, the laughter would die. Within seconds, they would regret everything. The woman nobody paid attention to. Eleanor Harper wasn't the type of person most people noticed in a crowd. She was in her early 70s, with soft silver hair that curled at the ends and a face line with the kind of wrinkles that told quiet stories of years spent loving, working, and enduring. She had lived in the small town of Brooksville for almost 40 years, in a little cottage with peeling white paint and a garden that smelled of roses in the summer. Her husband, James, had passed away 10 years ago. Her only son, Daniel, lived 3 states away, juggling work and raising 2 children of his own. Eleanor filled her days with simple routines, morning walks, tending her flowers, volunteering at the library. She was known for her gentle manners, her soft good morning to strangers, and the way she always fed the stray cats near the post office. Most people liked her. But they didn't really know her. The bullies on the corner. That Saturday morning, the town's main street was buzzing. Farmers' stalls lined both sides of the road. The scent of roasted coffee beans drifted through the air. Children tugged at their parents' hands, pointing to colorful pastries in the bakery window. On the corner, leaning against the wall of the convenience store, stood Tyler, Mason, and Dylan. Tyler, 17, was the ringleader. Tall, athletic, with sharp cheekbones and a sharper tongue, he carried himself like he owned every street he walked on. His home life was a mess, his father absent, his mother working double shifts, but Tyler wore arrogance like armor. Mason, 16, was Tyler's shadow. Stocky, loud, and always eager to impress. He wasn't mean by nature, but he loved the rush of being part of something, even if it was trouble. And then there was Dylan, the youngest at 15. Slender, with restless hands and eyes that darted nervously. He didn't like what Tyler did, but fear kept him in place. That morning, they'd already been kicked out of the arcade for shoving younger kids. Now, bored and restless, they scanned the crowd for entertainment. The target. Tyler spotted her first. A tiny, frail-looking woman with silver hair, walking slowly toward them with a cane in one hand and a heavy shopping bag in the other. "Check this out," Tyler muttered, nudging Mason. Mason chuckled. Dylan frowned. "She's old, man," Dylan said quietly. "Exactly," Tyler smirked. "Easy target." The shove. As Eleanor passed, Tyler stepped forward, pretending to adjust his jacket, but instead, he thrust his shoulder into her back. It wasn't just a bump. It was deliberate. Eleanor stumbled forward, her heart skipping a beat. She caught herself with her cane, but her groceries slipped from her grasp. Apples rolled under nearby stalls. The bread hit the dirt. The boys laughed loud enough for everyone around to hear. A couple of people glanced over but quickly turned away. Eleanor straightened herself slowly. Her knees ached, her chest tightened. And yet, when she turned to face them, her expression wasn't anger. It was something else. The calm before the storm. She looked at the 3 boys. Her voice was steady, quiet, but carried just enough weight to cut through their laughter. "Gentlemen, that wasn't very wise." Tyler smirked. "Oh yeah? And what are you gonna do about it, Grandma?" A small smile tugged at Eleanor's lips. "You'll see." She turned to the man at the nearest stall. "Would you mind holding my bag for just a moment?" The vendor nodded, curiosity in his eyes. The surprise. Eleanor stepped forward. Her movements were unhurried, deliberate. Tyler rolled his eyes until, in one sudden motion, she hooked her cane behind his ankle and pulled. It happened so fast he barely realized he was falling. He landed flat on his back with a thud that silenced the marketplace. Before he could get up, Eleanor stepped forward, planting the tip of her cane just above his chest, not enough to hurt, but firm enough to keep him down. "You don't shove people," she said, her voice low, even. Mason took an uncertain step forward, but Eleanor's eyes, sharp, focused, stopped him cold. Who she really was. From the crowd, a voice spoke up. "Wait, is that Eleanor Harper? The self-defense instructor?" The murmurs began. Years ago, before her quiet retirement, Eleanor had run a women's self-defense school. She'd taught police workshops, trained college students, and even volunteered abroad to teach safety in dangerous communities. She had medals, certificates, and stories that could fill a book, but she never bragged. Now, in the middle of Main Street, the truth was out. The humiliation. Tyler scrambled to his feet, face flushed with humiliation. "Whatever," he muttered, glancing nervously at the phones recording him. Dylan tugged at his sleeve. "Let's go." The three of them slunk away, disappearing into the crowd, but not before hearing a few claps and cheers from the onlookers. The aftermath. People rushed to help Eleanor gather her groceries. One young woman shook her head in awe. "Ma'am, that was incredible." Eleanor smiled softly. "It wasn't incredible. It was necessary. Respect isn't optional, it's earned, and it's given." The ripple effect. By evening, the video was everywhere. Clips flooded social media. Headlines read, "Don't mess with this grandma and respect your elders, lesson learned." But Eleanor didn't care about fame. She cared about the lesson. The following week, she called the high school principal. "I'd like to offer free self-defense classes for anyone who wants to learn," she said. The return of the boys. 3 weeks later, she spotted 3 familiar faces in the doorway of the community center gym. Tyler. Mason. Dylan. They looked uncomfortable, shuffling their feet. Tyler spoke first. "We, wanted to say sorry. And, maybe, learn what you know." Eleanor studied them for a long moment. "All right," she said finally. "But understand this, what I teach isn't about hurting people. It's about protecting yourself and standing up for others." Transformation. Over the weeks, something changed. Tyler began to respect her. He stopped skipping school. Mason started helping at the animal shelter on weekends. Dylan began tutoring younger kids after class. They weren't perfect, but they were trying. The final class. On the last day of the program, Eleanor stood before her students, teenagers, adults, even a few children. "Strength isn't about age, size, or power," she said. "It's about courage, self-control, and kindness. You can choose to tear people down, or you can choose to lift them up. That choice will define you." She glanced at the camera recording her and smiled. "And to anyone watching this, remember my channel name, because it's the truth, be kind always." Loudspeaker call to action. If you believe kindness is true strength, drop a comment below with "I choose kindness." Share this story with someone who needs it, and subscribe to Be Kind Always for more real stories that inspire.